You might have seen the headlines and the massive drama surrounding a game called Palworld. Came out of nowhere, sold millions of copies, and was quickly labeled Pokemon with guns. And in response, Nintendo did something that has the entire industry on edge. They didn't just sue Pocket Pair, the developers of Palworld, they went for something much bigger, something that could quite literally change the future of every video game you will ever play. Nintendo has been quietly granted a new US patent, a patent on a game mechanic that has existed for decades. Not on a specific character or a new type of ball, but on a core concept of summoning a character and having it fight another. This isn't just about Nintendo protecting their beloved franchise. This is a story about how an outdated legal system is being used to stifle creativity, kill competition, and pave the way for a future where the next big hit is dead before it's even born. This is the biggest killer in the gaming industry. And piece of paper. Welcome to the channel, my name's Taken Grace, and I'm a game developer. And if you are like me and you want to make great games, then subscribe to the channel. I have Unreal Engine tutorials, game dev tips, and more. But we're in trouble, as in today's video, we're going to talk about the effects patents have on not just indie developers, but the entire gaming industry. Let's get into it. What is a patent anyway? Before we dive deeper into this mess, let's go back to the basics. What exactly is a patent? Think of it like this: a patent is a legal document granted by the government to an inventor. Its purpose is to promote the progress of science and useful art. To get a patent, an invention has to meet a few key requirements. It has to be useful, it has to be new, and it has to be non-obvious. That means it can't be something that would have been an obvious solution to someone working in that field. The last one, the non-obvious part, is where things get messy, especially in the world of video games. Now with that in mind, let's talk about Nintendo's new patents. US patent number 2,403,397. In early 2024, Palworld exploded into the scene. It was an open world survival game with a creature collecting mechanic at its core, and it sold 8 million copies in just 6 days. The game's success put Nintendo and the Pokemon Company on high alert. The public, of course, immediately joked that it was Pokemon with guns. The immediate legal action from Nintendo started in Japan, where they sued Pocket Pair over 3 patents, 2 of which were related to creature capture and 1 to writing characters. Interestingly, these patents were filed in 2024, after Palworld has already come out, and they were derived from older patents dating back to 2021. But the real threat wasn't in Japan. On September 2nd, 2025, the US Patent and Trademark Office granted Nintendo a new incredibly broad patent. It covers the entire logical loop of a creature battle. Let's break down the claims. First, the game program is on a computer storage medium like a PC or a console. The player character can move around in a virtual space. You can summon a sub-character with an input, a button press, or an item toss. If there's an enemy nearby, your sub-character fights it based on your input. If there's no enemy, the sub-character just follows you around on its own. And finally, you can send the sub-character in any direction, and if it finds an enemy, it automatically starts a battle. If you've played a video game in the last 20 years, you've seen this exact chain of events, and now on paper, Nintendo owns it. Specifically, they're talking about their auto battle system in Scarlet and Violet. This is where the story gets really bizarre. The central argument against the patent is the concept of prior art. This is any evidence of an invention that was already known or used before the patent was filed. And in the world of creature collecting games, prior art is a literal mountain of evidence spanning decades. Long before Pokemon ever existed, there was the Megami Tensei series, which started in 1987. Players could recruit demons to fight for them, and in 1992, Japan got Dragon Quest V, a game with a monster recruiting and training system that directly inspired many later titles. There's also Jade Cocoon from 1998, and later hits like Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch in 2011, where you summon familiars to battle. More recently, a wave of indie games like Temtem and Koromon in 2022 built their entire gameplay around these very mechanics. The fact that Nintendo's patent glided through the US Patent Office without objections is a clear sign that the system is broken. Patent examiners aren't looking for game forums or wikis to find prior art. They're looking at other patents and academic papers, which are not where game design history lives. The legal battle playing out today is not a new phenomenon. We've seen this movie before, and it never ends well for innovation. Rewind back to the early 1900s, the Wright brothers had the patent for their flying machine. The courts ruled that their patent was a pioneer invention that covered the fundamental principles of flight control, not just in their specific wing warping method. This meant that another aviation pioneer, Glenn Curtiss, couldn't use his own different system of ailerons without a legal fight. The result? A years-long, destructive legal war that effectively slowed the pace of American aviation development for years. The government had to step in during World War I and force them to settle it just so the country could make airplanes for war. A similar story happened with the invention of television. A young inventor named Philo Farnsworth won a legal battle against the corporate giant RCA, proving that he was the true inventor of electronic television. For the first time ever, RCA had to pay royalties to an outside inventor, but RCA had endless supply of money and lawyers. They tied up Farnsworth's patents with relentless appeals and legal challenges. By the time World War II ended and television became a commercial reality, Farnsworth's patents were on the verge of expiring, and he barely profited from his inventions, and his company collapsed, all while RCA took his invention and dominated the market. These stories come with a warning. When a company with deep pockets patents a fundamental idea, they don't just have to win it in court. The legal process itself is the weapon. They can use the cost of litigation to drain smaller companies dry, or as we're seeing today, simply use the threat of legal action to scare off the competition. If only the Pokemon Company would redirect some of those financials to develop a good game. Palworld was a message to Nintendo to step it up on their next Pokemon title, and they did probably the worst thing that they could possibly do, and that was bring negative press to the company by declaring war on not only Pocket Pair, but the whole gaming industry. This isn't Nintendo's first time at the patent rodeo, and they're not the only ones. In 2021, Warner Brothers patented the now famous Nemesis system for Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. It's a fantastic system where enemies remember past encounters with you. By patenting of a core mechanic like this sparked outrage. Critics argued that it would stifle creativity across the industry by preventing other developers from building on a great idea. Then there's a story of the Crazy Taxi navigation arrow. Patented by Sega back in 2001, Sega reportedly used this patent to go after developers using similar navigation tools, creating a chilling effect on the industry. Even the popular ping system from Apex Legends was patented by Electronic Arts. The backlash was so strong that EA ultimately decided to license the patent for free, showing that community pressure can sometimes be a powerful force against a patent overreach. This is the key danger. The most significant problem with these patents isn't their enforcement, it's the chilling effect they create. Small independent studios don't have millions of dollars they need to fight legal battles against giant corporations, so they're forced to either avoid a mechanic entirely or waste valuable resources trying to redesign complex workarounds, just to avoid a patent's claim. This diverts time and money away from true creativity and into legal defense strategies. The video game industry is built on a culture of shared ideas. Developers reuse and iterate on game concepts to create new experiences, just like authors build on literacy tropes or musicians use common chord progressions. But the current patent system was designed for the industrial age, for physical machines and compositions of matter, not abstract, iterative software. So what can we do? We need reform, both in Congress and within the patent office itself. Litigation like SHIELD Act could be a crucial first step. It would create a fee-shifting system, forcing a losing plaintiff like a patent troll or a big company with a weak claim to pay the defendant's legal fees. This would make it financially risky to sue with a garbage patent. There's also the End Anonymous Patents Act, which would force companies to disclose who's truly behind a lawsuit, preventing them from hiding behind shell companies. Beyond legislation, the USPTO needs to adapt. They need to have a better understanding of the video game world and start to recognize that prior art from game mechanics exist in other games and not just other patents. The current legal campaign against Palworld isn't just about protecting intellectual property. It's an aggressive use of a flawed system as an anti-competitive weapon. With a company with an extensive portfolio like Nintendo spends millions on legal fees instead of making it on a better game, it's profound misdirection of resources. Ultimately, the true fight is not between Nintendo and Pocket Pair, it's between a broken legal system and the iterative communal nature of digital art. The goal of the patent system is to promote progress, but if all it does is protect the powerful while stifling the creativity and the small, then it's not a tool for innovation. It's the biggest killer to the gaming industry. To be honest, company greed really pisses me off, and it's the real reason people pirate games. Hell, it's the reason I'm not buying a Switch 2, and I'm sure the $600 price tag is to cover the legal fees. You can't tell me that the Switch 2 offers more than the Xbox or the PlayStation console when they finally joined the 21st century and got voice chat. But anyways, we'll let the Loris figure out the patents while we continue to make great games. Check out these videos to help you become a better game dev. Special thanks to my Royal Coffee members. Members get access to my vault of assets, early access to videos, and more. Link is in the description below. Like and subscribe, and keep learning till you game over. Peace.